Well, very proud of our guys. Again, the way we competed in the game, proud for them. Made great adjustments during the game, competed very hard in the game, made a lot of critical plays, a lot of young players on offense, defense, special teams stepped up and were a key role, which I'm very happy about. We're doing a great job in helping our team develop. I thought the older guys kept their poise in the game, made big plays when we had to. Miami, again, I thought was ready to play. They were very talented, did a really nice job in the game, but again, our kids found a way to make enough plays to win and play very well at times, excellent really at times in a lot of areas. Very proud. I think the defense created 3 turnovers again. Sudden change in defense did a great job on the kickoff fumble that held them to a field goal. The other 2 were down the other end. Made great adjustments in the second half to things they were doing in the first half, formationally and personnel-wise. Really helped out tremendously, and then made plays when we had to make them. Offensively, missed a couple third downs early, which cost us. Then we got rolling and kept scoring points. Did a real nice job. Had 2 critical turnovers. One we just got just stared just a hair on the deep route, and they safety got over top, made a really nice play, and we had a fumble. It's very inexcusable, but Dalvin bounced back and made, for a young guy to be able to have the resiliency to come back and make that play, and the plays he made after that, very good. But very proud of the other guys. Thought Cam did a heck of a job inside at center. Our line played extremely well. Bobby Hart was really outstanding. Trey Osway, and then Big Rod played really well on the edge. Thought he did a great job. Nick O'Leary also blocking in there and did a really good job. And then the offense, we moved the ball very well and scored critical points when we had to. And James did a great job of leading us. Thought Beatty kicked the ball extremely well. Thought Roberto kicked the ball extremely well. And kickoffs are important because they're very talented on the return game. And our punt game the same way. Great kicks by Casey. 2 of them right at 50 yards and were 4-0 hang, and then one he dropped, inside the 20. So we did a great job there, and had a good punt return in the game. So getting better. Got a great challenge this week in Boston College. Very good team. A lot of problems they cause you, offense and defense. On their offense, they'll be in 14. They'll go 1 tight end. Going back 4 tight ends, 4 and 5, 6-man surfaces, throwbacks, wheels, run the ball. Quarterback is a really good player, Tyler Murphy, athletic. They're doing tons of quarterback run game. Their backs are very physical when they run it, big up front. Tight ends do a great job. Josh Bordner, number 8 there is really emerging into a heck of a player. And for them, defensively, big guys up front, very long, 6'6", 6'7", one of them 6'9", big bodies. Linebackers run well, multiple in the secondary. Tons of blitzes, tons of pressure, very multiple in the back end, and things very tough for a quarterback and the front guys. They caused us lots of problems up there last year with different looks and how they rush. So we have our hands full. Special teams, very sound team. So we have to get ready to play that game. Put that last one behind us and ready to go into Boston College. Question?
Well, I assume just from listening to you talk that moving forward, that's going to be the offensive line you guys
yes,
with?
we like that right now. I think that gives us the best chance to be the best we can be right now.
Jim, when you looked at film a little bit more of Cameron at center and Roderick at tackle, what did you see from those guys in there?
Inside, Cam's so athletic, movement, can pull, can run. And as good as Stork was, but Cam is such an athlete in there. He can bend, he can pull, and get on the end. Stork did too, but for being there that little time, and then big body, clogs up the middle, get turned, and body type very good. And then Big Rod is so long and big on the edges, and played extreme. He's so light on his feet and intelligent. Really gets the game. I thought he played one heck of a football game.
Getting a true freshman playing on the line.
Well, think about that. Oh, it is. I've been like Willie Anderson. We were at Auburn. Started from day one. Had Victor Riley did that. Some guys. It's just hard because it's not just knowing what to do, then the power and strength to be able to do it against grown men up front is a very tough thing to do, and very special by him to do it.
Was the decision to make that lineup change more based on Cam being ready for center or Roderick being ready for?
Being Roderick ready for. But Cam been practicing there all for a while, and we felt he was ready and could do it if we had to. But we wanted to get our best 5, and then Rod, the way he'd been starting to really play, we thought it'd give us the best chance. And we were very pleased. Hopefield was doing a great job, guys. We won every game with him. He played very well. I did a great job. He's going to be a heck of a football player here. But just Cam's experience inside and girth and size is right now gives us a little better chance. And with Rod's length on the edge, his pass block can go to his ability to move people when he blocks them.
When did Rod get to that point where?
I think the last couple of weeks.
Last couple of weeks.
Maybe 2 to 3 weeks ago. We really started seeing it come. Did early, and then kind of hit that freshman law a little bit and figured it out, and then he just really been practicing well.
You say something about Cam's selflessness, that 5th-year senior will move with 3-4 games left in his career.
Well, it does. It is selflessness, but also those guys know this adds value to them too. when you're a multiple guy up front and can play all three positions, your value to the league becomes so much greater. And I think but it was a true selfless move. It takes, I don't say selfless, to me it's more courageous. It takes a lot of guts to go in there and say, I ain't never snapped the ball in a game, and go in there and snap that thing and do it. I mean, it's more courageous, I think, than it is selfless, really. I mean, I was very, very proud of the way he handled that.
He looks like a natural at that center
He is,
position.
because he can bend. He's so athletic and can bend in his hips. And for a big guy, he can bend and get low, which a center's got to be able to do and get to second level.
You don't see many 6'6" centers out there.
The way he was able to get to the second level, is that what really sprung?
Well, some of that, and just his ability, his size and girth inside, and ability to get a lot of movement inside when they hit our double team. Now when you're getting double team, that's 630, 40 pounds, hitting you.
Coach, the rally last year at Boston College to come back and win that game, do you think that kind of taught this year's team anything about some of the...
I think everybody talks about the other ones, but that was really the first adversity we'd ever hit, down 17-3 on the road, and that was always a question on us at that time. Could they deal with those things on the road and growing as a program, and to be able to come right back from a 7, and a team that was playing very well. And then once we got ahead, they rallied right back again in the second half. I mean, Boston College is a very well coached team. Coach Adazio does a great job with those guys.
Can you speak about the ability of this team not to focus, just to focus on what's going on?
It does. It's just it's a habit for them. They understand how to do that now. They understand how to compartmentalize and stay in the moment and play the next play and not get rattled.
Jimbo, you used to talk about not having to block every yard for running backs. Is Dalvin one of those guys that you don't have to?
Yes, and I think Pender is, and Carlos at the time. But Pender, you go back to some of those runs he made at Syracuse. Pender didn't have the shots the other night. He made a nice sweep run and a couple of things. But I think he is. But I definitely think Dalvin is too. I mean, they break tackles, run through arm tackles, but then you get out there, man, and you can make that guy miss because somebody's going to half make a block. When you're talking about making 8 blocks across the board, you make 7.5, the play could be bad or average. You know what I mean? Those guys got to, as I say, they're on scholarship. That's what you recruit them for. They've got to be able to make that guy miss or run through that arm tackle, or run whatever they do to keep that ball moving, and he definitely has that. And then, not only that, then you have those guys, then you have the finishers. See, a lot of those guys will do that and move the chains. And some of those guys move it and change the numbers on the scoreboard. Dalvin has the ability to change the numbers on the scoreboard.
Coach, it seems like it's been a theme over the past few weeks, Jalen kind of settling into that role. And it looked like he had his best game of the year at that star position. People
don't realize the complication and multiplicity of playing that position and the uniqueness you have to have. And he's very rare, because sometimes taller guys have a harder time, believe that or not. But he's so athletic, and he bends. Like when you watch him rush that passer, and he can dip that shoulder and get around that tackle like he's a defensive end, but then he can stop and jump and bat the ball. Then he jumps over a guy and blocks the PAT. And I say this, the biggest play in that game was probably the block PAT. Changes the whole game on the 2-minute drive at the end of the game. You're thinking about that as a team's down 13-0, could be feeling sorry for itself. That guy runs and blocks a PAT that I think has a big impact on that game as any play in the game when you come to the end of it. Because they have to kick a field goal, their whole drive is different. What they're trying to do and how it has happened instead of trying to score a touchdown. But his ability to do that, then cover like a man guy, then also be physical and play the run. He's a very unique player. And that's why everybody kept wanting me to move him back to safety. I know that position, when you got a guy like that, just give him time. But there's a lot of information, because you're a linebacker, you're a DB, you're a rush guy, there's a lot of information that has to be processed there. And you got to give him time to grow.
How much does it change the defense when that position is being played well, because of all the responsibilities of what you're just talking
Exactly
about?
Right. That's why LaMarcus played there. Did so many things. You know what I mean? And it just adds a whole other dimension to what you can do. Whether it's coverage or a rush guy or a run guy, because he can play run, he can cover, and he can blitz.
After the game in the locker room, you told the team that some of those early deficits can come back to bite them. Is that something you feel like you need to address, or you kind of get more?
I address them all. I address them. We always address them. You never want to put yourself in those positions consistently. They will. Eventually, in time, you can't keep putting yourself there. But what you have to do is understand when you're there how to handle them. But you got to work. There's always something you got to get better at. Good enough is never good enough. Even if we started fast, like last year, sometimes we'd start fast for a quarter, half, and everybody said, well, what happened in the middle of the second quarter and second half? He didn't finish. You know what I'm saying? There's always something as a coach you have to address that you have to do better. When good enough becomes good enough, you got a problem. And that's never gonna happen here. And it's never gonna happen with the mentality of this team. So we address things and we work on them, but we don't dwell on them. Because as soon as you start dwelling on that, then you start working on the other things you do well. And you just gotta gradually keep that in their mind and work on it when it's there, concentrate very hard on it, try to get better.
What can you do to try and start faster?
You do things in practice sometimes, you change practice, you'll try to set a tone, maybe how you call plays, maybe how you do defenses, and there are different things, we'll mix it up.
Those first couple of third downs you guys didn't get,
Yes.
were those well covered, or?
One I thought was pretty well covered, he stumbled coming out of the cut. When he had the route, and he kind of when he stumbled, and James was a little high on it because he kind of lost his footing, and and the second one just, it was in his hands, you got to make the play. I mean, when you play good people, they're going to be right on you. And then I think as the game went on, got used to that, and we stumbled one, we just let them get through our fingers, and those are critical, especially when we got that turnover. That was disappointing because midfield we had that, we at least got a field goal, got down, and got some points.
Did the ankle affect Jameis at all?
Yeah.
So is he as healthy as you can expect?
Well, I mean, for a guy that's 10 games in and
Right.
gets knocked on his can 14 times a game, when you get hit, that's just the nature of the beast. Yeah.
Hey, Tom D'Angelo?
Yes, hey, Jimbo.
Hey, Tom, how you doing, buddy?
Okay, I just have one question. Can you just react to, what's going on, what happened yesterday with Will? And, what do you think his future is in football?
Will's future is going to be very bright. Will's a heck of a football coach, and I hate it. But, they'll have 2 more games, and he'll definitely have them ready to play for the next 2 games, and they'll play very hard. I know they will when they come here. And Will's a good friend, he's a good person, he's a heck of a football coach, and he'll still have a bright future, great future in this game. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, that's going to probably be different. His last game is going to be, against you there.
Yeah, I know. And he'll have him ready to go and be doing everything under the sun. I know Will. I know the competitor he is.
Thanks, Jimbo.
Thank you, Tom.
Jared Shanker?
Yeah, where's he at today?
Hey, Jimbo.
Well, you sleep in today?
What's that?
What'd you do, sleep in today?
Yeah, man. That Miami's a little crazy down there.
You telling on yourself.
No, I got a couple other things I had to do.
I'm just teasing you. What you got?
I wanted to ask you, a lot of people are discussing now what's called the body blow theory, where if you have a tough game the week before, it really affects you the next week. And played a tough Virginia team. Miami wants to run the ball. Boston College wants to run the ball. Florida wants to run the ball. Do you worry about the accumulation of these games, considering the type of teams you're playing?
No doubt. That's what that GPS is for. That's one of the reasons I believe so wholeheartedly in that GPS and the body loads. And you can, I can guess all I want, but it gives me a parameter which I can set and look at to see where that goes. I think that's why it's very critical for these guys and for their health. And that's what people don't understand. That thing is for their health as much as anything in the world, and that we do in college football. And it takes the guesswork out of it. And then you have to, judge by your own standards of how you do things. But at the end of the day, that's ball. Sometimes you do it. That's why football is never easy. It's physical, and that's why it's such a different game. It's time to man up and play.
And not to take anything away from Tyler Murphy as a passer, but do you approach this game maybe more like Georgia Tech, where priority number 1 is to stop him as a runner?
Well, I think he's so dynamic, but he does throw it down the field. I don't know if you go that far. I mean, this guy, they get the ball down the field, they run a lot of different passes and different things, but you have to be aware of both. He's a multi-dimensional guy.
And one last thing, something a little bit different. You keep talking about how much love this team has for each other, and Rashad Green said that nobody really gets on each other when you guys are down on the sideline. Is that unique? I mean, have you been, how often are you a part of a team where a team that isn't used to getting down goes down and everybody on the sideline starts pointing fingers at each other?
I've been there where it's been like that because no one wants it to be their fault. But here's the difference. No one individual believes he's the reason we win, and no one individual believes he's the reason we don't play well. See, that's the difference. And they don't look for individual glory. They look for team unity and what they do as a group. And I think they understand collectively is why we're successful. And they understand collectively is why we are failing. So they don't get on each other, they just push each other.
Awesome. Thanks, Jimbo.
Thank you.
How are you guys health-wise coming out of that?
Really good. Really, for a game that was that physical and the shots, I mean, you got some bruises and, but I mean, I was extremely happy coming out of that game.
Will Lorenzo be back this week?
I hope that. Well, I'll have to wait to check with the doctor. That one there, I don't know.
Mario in particular, how did he hold physically?
Mario
Pender.
Oh, he was great. It was just great. It was just a weird. We got behind, so we didn't run it as much, and he got a couple passes, but he's great. He's in great shape. He's really good.
Was there a reason why Kermit was involved in the offense?
Yes, because the way he's practiced the last 2 or 3 weeks. He dropped some weight. His quickness is back. His size, his speed. He's practiced. I mean, in and out of his. I said it for about 2 weeks now. Just like Rob. I mean, all of a sudden, man, it just a second wind sometimes, and he just making plays all over the field, running around and practice. And I say, he's ready to play.
Now, is that something where he has to come to Jimbo meetings, and you tell him that, man, you gotta get.
Well, I addressed that with guys say, Coach, why am I like fun, Coach, why am I not? Why am I this? Well, so and so the head, he's doing this. You got to do this, this, and this, and then, I'm very open in that way, very open and honest. Not to be brutally honest, but you have to tell them the truth of why. But also tell them why they're doing good. And he's responded tremendously well because he is a weapon. You saw when he gets the ball in his hands. But you got to understand, when the ball's in your hands, it's easy. When the ball's out of your hands, when it's hard. And for guys who have always gotten the ball very easily, you got to play faster without it than you do with it because you can't get it at receiver unless you do. And that's a learned trait and a learned art.
Jimbo, did you have you had a conversation with PJ and Darby about the accident from October?
We made a statement about that, and that's where we're at.
A fourth quarter running game like when Dalvin came out, how does that help take the pressure off?
Well, it does, and I think the wear and tear of our offensive line, the big bodies keep pounding on you, and then you got to chase us around in the spread, and then all of a sudden we come directly at you, and then rushing the passer, and then taking on the run makes a big difference.
Just judging from the programs you've been at, New York Times Weekly, TMZ Weekly, do you think this is par for the course, or is this year just especially piling on?
I don't know. Don't concern it. We do with what's right and deal with what's wrong.
You ever seen a batted pass go for a touchdown? Like?
Oh yeah. You're involved long enough, you see everything.
Have you noticed the difference with Kaysen in the last few weeks, either mentally, physically, something?
Yes, I think in the last 4 to 5 weeks, his consistency, his steps, his angles, his hips, doing a great job with his toe to keep his hip angling good and hitting the ball very consistent, staying very tight. Doing a real good job.
It's not a matter of refining technique or just
it is. It's technique and consistent, and then just being able to be consistent over and over and over and over and over again.
Feel good for a guy. I mean, he's obviously been under a lot of scrutiny. For him to kind of get it together and really punt the way he has over the last couple months.
It's been huge. I mean, that guy. I mean, he's been a difference maker. I mean, that guy is changing field position. For a guy, we struggled with it. Everybody thought we struggled. That guy is becoming a weapon on our team.
On a 53-yarder to Roberto, he said he lobbied you. I mean, how did that conversation go?
He didn't lobby me. He looked at me and said field goal. I said before the game felt good at 55, so he didn't lobby. He got some actor in him. He got some movie drama in him. I knew it was no hesitation. He didn't have to. Wasn't no drama. Don't want to. Yeah, kick it. Yeah, that was our conversation. He wanted to though. You could see he was anxious to get it, and I felt very comfortable with him there. I looked the play call had to do with it, because if I wouldn't have, and it would have been on 4th down, I might have done something else on 3rd down in that situation.
Does he before game with pregame when he kicks? Do you guys kind of figure a range where you
with both ways, with the wind one way, wind the other way, where you feel right hash, left hash, you're good. We go through the whole gamut of where you feel comfortable and where your calls are, so it allows me to adjust calls accordingly. When we get to those I call gray areas, where all that begins.
How much do you appreciate that? I don't know there's another coach in America that kicks a 53-yard field goal in that spot. Middle of the 4th quarter, down by 6, 4th and 5. But you know that you got a guy that's almost automatic.
When you get to points and you feel very comfortable there, I mean, that goes into your decision making. And then also to be able to kick them back and then put a young quarterback back, because we kicked off very well. Then they have to have a drive. Our defense had played very well. I mean, everything went into that besides him being able to make it, first of all. Secondly, our defense was playing extremely well in the second half. Thirdly, they knew they would have to throw the ball to get 1st downs. You know what I'm saying? And that puts pressure back on them. With there's still 7 minutes to go in the game. 7 minutes in college football with 3 timeouts, that's an eternity. And so all those things, and the way he was kicking off also, that they couldn't get the return back, we felt all those things kind of came into that is where we at. And people say it's a gamble, it was, but is that him making that field goal or us picking up 4th and 5? I mean, you pick 50% of them up, you're considered great. He's gonna hit 50% from 53 yards. I promise. He's gonna hit better than that.
Yeah, but the situations where they were able to get cash or man coverage, were you guys having to focus on the running game?
Well, no, they were in green. See, they're in green personnel. 2 backs, 2 tight ends. So we got big people in to be able to play the run, and their tight ends were very gifted. So they would flex and go empty. You know what I mean? And Coley remembered some things. in the past. We used to do that to Nick. When you match personnel groups, that's why personnel matchup groups, that's why guys like Jalen are so critical. And outside backers who can cover and run are so critical. And what they did when they matched him, and they run a rub route and they picked him. See what I'm saying? And they picked him off and he got bumped off and they got him down the sideline. He actually played him well to the receiver who was running a little drag route, made him run that low bubble and bump, which was legal. It wasn't a penalty. You know what I'm saying? But how they rubbed it, and it worked out.
It seemed like you guys were keeping their defense a little off balance with your other tempo. Are you guys playing that about as well as you?
We have right now, and we're able to, because those young receivers are so good at processing that information now in the back. We feel comfortable with the backs and protection now, and all the multiplicities of things they got to do. So their growth has really helped.
Have you seen anything different on film that they're doing with Rashad Green, as far as him production-wise?
No, he's been producing very well. I mean, just the other day we had calls that I say our offense doesn't always go to a guy. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. If we get the matchup somewhere else, we go right to it, and I feel comfortable with our other guys right now.
The catch he made, I think it was the one hand, just on the little route. They had a quiet day overall, but how important was that?
I was big on that drive going down. That was the drive we ended up scoring on, I think, coming back then. We had a couple ways we definitely want to get him the ball there and let him run. He was inches from breaking that thing. I mean, it was just arm tackle from getting through there for a touchdown.
Well, the interception, how much is that, maybe not the right decision, how much is it a safety just going and making a really
It is both. What happens usually in a smash, where they hitch in the corner? They played outside leverage, usually like to get inside. When they got it outside, he forced Rashad up the field deeper. And James said, the safety didn't go over the top. Yeah. And what happens when you normally see it, he thought he had inside leverage. So he's ready to turn the throw. When he realized it was out and he had to go up, he had to hold it a second. And that safety sees it and then breaks over the top. When you're single high and man free like they were, that guy's going to redrive. Usually he'll hold that guy off, which he did, but he didn't hold him long enough and allow that throw. Knowing it's deeper, you got to hold him just a hair more. And he normally does it, but he thought it was going to be a little quicker throw. And when he looked, he had to hesitate. The guy got the break and still went and made a great play because the ball's coming off of Rashad's fingertips. And Bush made a heck of a play. He's a good player. And it's wrong, but it's not. It's a very, you see how it happened, but yeah, it's a good play by them. It's ball when you play good people.
Coach, a lot of talk about where everyone's going to fall on Tuesday when the new college playoff rankings come out. Any thought about where you think?
Again, like last week, whether we're 2 or 3 or 1 or 4, it doesn't matter. We got to go play and play well this week. Again, wherever we move up, we move up. Just like when it doesn't phase me.
What do you think about the job the committee's done each week with moving the teams around?
I don't pay attention to it. I really don't. I have not sat and really studied or looked or too busy doing the week, especially when they're doing them too. That's till once I lock in on Sunday, till after that game, it's unless somebody hits me in the head with something, I don't know what's going on in the world.
Yes or no, you knew who Kevin Hart was before this past weekend?
Yes. Yes, I did. I actually was watching on TV the other day, watching one of his movies with he and Ice Cube. Yeah. He was dating Ice Cube's sister or something. They were cops or something. I watched some of that. I was watching, one of the kids were watching it at the house the other day. He was great. He's a nice guy. Got to meet him a few seconds and got back to work.
But that atmosphere in Miami was pretty something.
It really was. They were ready. I mean, that was ready. That was a big time game, a big time environment. Their fans were ready. They had 2 weeks to build up their preparation, and that was great. What I liked is how our kids responded. I mean, they kind of really put a bounce in their step. It really did. The energy level and everything. And you always wonder when you get to those hostile environments, how do you take them? You know what I mean? And they were great. They really were.
Did that start with the buses coming in and greeting you guys?
Oh yeah. That's what you're used to. That's what it should be every week. That's what you want to do every time you go on the road.
Did Dalvin fumbles the way he carries the ball, or just guys hitting it?
He stripped it, and he was trying to we got tied up there, and he was trying to wave it to get back around the guy. And when you raise that elbow up, they had space, and the guy got his hand on it. Got to keep it high and tight and keep that elbow locked.
Can it be difficult for a young guy to have the mental fortitude to bounce back from something like that?
It can be devastating, especially in a game like that in your hometown against a team to recruit. You know, I mean, all those things can be devastating. That's a big time compliment, his mental toughness.
What have you seen from him?
And confidence.
What have you seen from him throughout the weeks to keep going to him even after the fumble?
Well, I mean, we ride him. If he doesn't practice, we ride him. We get on him. We push him. We challenge him. I mean, when they miss assignments, not just fumbles, but they have missed assignments. That's why I like practice to be tough. I like it to be rough. I like guys to be challenged because you see a little bit how their personalities are. Are they fighters or are they powders?
even before his fumble in the Virginia game, he had fumbled another one and caught it. And then
Yes.
he fumbled against Miami, he had like 3 fumbles and about 10 carries.
Yeah.
Were you close at all to saying that we can't put you back on?
No,
the
well,
field?
you are, but yeah, just saying, if, you know, you
And
got.
how do you know that he could, how do you know to do it?
Intuition. I mean, I don't say that bragging. I mean, you just, as a, you gut and you look in their eye when you talk to them and the history of it and knowing the person individually and what he's about and what he is. And then sometimes you, as a coach, you make a mistake. You put him back in there, but you know, you'd rather make a mistake doing that than ruining the kid. Because you can ruin one sometimes by, you know, let him rethink it, but not giving him that chance again. But at the same time, there's a fine line when that time comes. You know, you got to take care of the ball too. We're fortunate. He's lucky to do it.
All right?
Good.
Good.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.